All right, good morning, Arkansas. This is Assistant Chief Forecaster Cam back here once again. I'm going to give you guys a tornado warning update here for our folks up here in northwestern Arkansas. So we're going to go ahead and read to you guys this new tornado warning that's in effect. This is going to go for far northwestern Arkansas to repeat, okay? So the tornado warning goes for, give me 1 second to get this information up for you guys at this point, okay? So tornado warning goes for east central Benton County, northwestern Madison County, northwestern Carroll County, and northeastern Washington County until 5 o'clock this morning. A severe thunderstorms capable of producing a tornado were located along the line extending from near Springdale to 4 miles northeast of Fayetteville, moving northeast at about 40 miles per hour here, folks. So, as I mentioned before yesterday in the live stream, that we were going to have the potential of possibly a tornado warning or two up here in northwestern Arkansas, and this is what we got at this point here, guys. So, I appreciate y'all tuning in 4 o'clock in the morning. To repeat, we do have a tornado warning in effect up here in northwestern Arkansas. It's going to go for the following counties: east central Benton County, northwestern Madison County, northwestern Carroll County, and northeastern Washington County until 5 o'clock in the morning here. Remember, get away from the windows, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible, get to the lowest area of your home immediately in these areas, okay? So, to repeat, this is in northwestern Arkansas, okay? This is in northwestern Arkansas. The rest of the natural state is perfectly fine and ready to go. This is in far northwestern Arkansas at this point. This is northeast of downtown Fayetteville, east of Springdale, east of Lowell, east of Rogers, okay? This is between Huntsville and the Rogers area here. So what I'm going to do for just a moment, I'm going to go ahead and turn the warnings off for just a bit. We're going to take a look at that rotation, okay? So this is the area of rotation of concern here. I know it doesn't look impressive to you guys on the radar imagery here, but you can see right here, just to the east of Springdale, okay? There's your reds and your greens kind of combining into one, and that's where you're going to have to watch for that tornado potential here, okay? So inflow coming in, outflow coming out. That's where your potential tornado is. So it's just the east of Springdale, moving northeast at about 40 miles per hour here, folks, okay? So just keep that in mind. If you're in this area, if you know anyone in this area, and also, as a matter of fact, if you know anyone in Eureka Springs, it's in northwestern Arkansas, they do need to be taking their tornado precautions immediately in this area here, guys. So, to repeat, we do have a tornado warning in effect up here in northwestern Arkansas until 5 o'clock this morning here. I know it was kind of a blindside tornado warning, but I was telling you guys yesterday that based off what we were looking at guidance, I wouldn't be shocked if we saw a tornado warning or some sort first thing in the morning here. So this is what we got, okay? So there it is right there on reflectivity, as you can see right in there, okay? There's the tornado warning right here, okay? For Springdale, it's just to the east of Springdale, moving northeast at about 40 miles per hour. So here's the track of this. Give me 1 second. Let me go back over to our level 2 radar real quick. Okay, and it's going to put a track on this storm. Okay, so we're talking Springdale right around this time. Right now, it's just to the east of Springdale. And then right around 4:45, 4:50-ish, it should be making a run for the Eureka Springs and the Beaver area up here in northwestern Arkansas. And that's also going to go for Highway 62 that runs from Rogers all the way over to Apina, which is in north central Arkansas. So if you know anyone on 62 at this point, they do need to be taking their tornado precautions immediately. Remember, get away from the windows, put as many walls to you and the outside as possible, get to the lowest area of your home immediately in this area, guys. So to kind of repeat myself one more time, we do have that tornado warning in effect. If you are under that tornado warning, you need to seek shelter immediately here. I know it's fine at 4 o'clock in the morning. A lot of people are kind of still sleeping at this point. Wake them up, blow their phones up, do whatever you got to do to get them up. But get away from the exterior walls, get away from the windows, and put as many walls to you and the outside as physically possible here, guys. So that tornado warning is going to go until 5 o'clock this morning here. And while we're here, we're going to go ahead and take a look at what's called the correlation coefficient at this point here. And I'm not seeing... Well, I was saying I wasn't seeing much in the way of the area of rotation here, but it's about right in here. I'm going to take off the rolls for just a bit. I'm going to see if we can match this up with our, give me 1 second. Let me turn the warnings off for just a bit, okay? So, I want to say, let me go over to our velocity real quick, make sure this matches up, okay? There's the area of rotation right in here, okay? So, I am getting kind of concerned. I am seeing that little bit of CC drop right in here where that area of rotation is. So that tells me we could have a brief tornado of some sort That is northeast of Springdale, moving east at about northeast at about 40 miles per hour here, guys. So treat this tornado warning as if it were on the ground. Any tornado warning that you have, you want to treat it as if it were on the ground here, guys. Okay, so there's the warning. There's the storm that's coming out at this point, coming up Springdale at this time. And as I said before, there it is right here. Let's put the warning back up for just a bit. Okay, there's the tornado warning. That's going to go for just east of Fayetteville, northeast of Fayetteville. It does include the Springdale area. It's just moving northeast at about 40 miles per hour. So we're zooming this out so you guys can see it very clearly. Okay, there's a tornado warning at this point. It's going to go just to the east of the Springdale area. Okay, just to the east of Springdale, moving northeast at about 40 miles per hour. Highway 62 is going to be the area of concern I have at this point here. But this is something that we're going to have to watch and wait and see what happens later on this afternoon into later on this morning into the afternoon hours, guys. It's these brief spin-ups along the line here. Those are the ones that we're going to have to continuously watch throughout the morning, throughout the afternoon hours today. This is the exact same setup that we're going to be dealing with across the rest of the natural state as we get towards later on today here, guys. So before I know, I kind of tuned everybody in. I'm looking at some comments right now. I didn't mean to scare anybody to death or anything like that, but whenever there's a tornado warning, we are going to go live for it, folks. If it's 3, 4, or 5 o'clock in the morning, we'll be live for it, okay? So that's the tornado warning at this point. If you're just now tuning in, we'll read the tornado warning to you guys one more time. So it's going to go for east central Benton County, northwestern Madison County, northwestern Carroll County, and northeastern Washington County until 5 o'clock this morning. Severe thunderstorms capable of producing a tornado were located along the line extending from near Springdale to 4 miles northeast of Fayetteville, moving northeast at about 40 miles per hour here. So hazard tornado source is radar indicated at this point here, but you want to kind of take that initiative on whenever there's a tornado warning. You want to seek shelter, okay? You want to treat these tornado warnings as they were on the ground here at this point here, guys, okay? So maybe for just a bit, I'm going to try to see if I can get that warning polygon to kind of move over so you guys can see it a little better on our radar here, okay? So give me just for 1 second. That should be popping up here shortly here. But this tornado warning does include Interstate 49 between mile markers 72 and 79 in this area here, guys. So before, take your tornado precautions immediately in this area here. That's getting away from the windows. That's putting many walls to you as side as possible. Get to the lowest area of your home immediately in these areas here, okay? So that's the tornado warning right here, okay? It's going to go just to the east of Springdale, going towards Berryville, towards Beaver, and towards Eureka Springs up here in northwestern Arkansas. Okay, so that's the area of concern that we're going to keep an eye on here. This is moving due northeast. So I'm going to put another track on this so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. Okay, so there's tornado warning at this point. Okay, I'm going to turn right off for just a second. Okay, so that's the tornado warning up here for Springdale, just in northeast of Fayetteville at this point. Okay. And this storm is moving northeast at about 40 miles per hour. Okay, so we're talking Springdale, Eureka Springs, and over towards Beaver at this point here. Okay, rest of the natural state, you are good to go. Okay, I know there's a lot of people tuning in from various parts of the natural state. If you don't live up here in northwestern Arkansas, you are good to go, folks. I promise you. But this is where that tornado warning is at this point. Remember, take your tornado precautions immediately in this area. We're going to zoom this down and pull up some localized cities that could be potentially impacted. So Springdale, take your tornado precautions just to be on the safe side. It's the east side of Springdale right now. That tornado warning should get trimmed for that particular area here, but it's going to focus more towards the Beaver and the Eureka Springs area up here. So we're talking Highway 12, also Highway 62 up here. So before, that runs from Rogers all the way over to Apena, which is in north central Arkansas. And even for our folks along the Arkansas-Missouri border, Highway 86 up there, you might want to take your tornado precautions up there as well here. So this is the ongoing tornado warning at this point. I'm going to reopen the radar back open for you guys here, guys. And that should be loading up here shortly. As a matter of fact, we may want to go ahead and take a look at our storm relative velocity here. And that should be coming up here shortly here. But that's the current tornado warning at this point. It's going to go for east central Benton County, Madison County, Carroll County, and Washington counties in this area here. And there it is right in there. I mean, it's very, very brief rotation right in here, okay? I mean, you cannot miss that at any point, okay? And you can see where your reds and your greens are kind of combining, and that's where that area of rotation, the concern is right here, which is just northeast of Springdale or just southwest of Eureka Springs, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. Luckily for us, I haven't heard any sort of reports of this thing being confirmed at this point, which is great news, okay? But this is moving towards Springdale, towards Eureka Springs, and towards Beaver, okay? So there's the timing for that. If you need that information, it's going to be right over here, okay? So before, that's the timing for that. But right now, I'm not seeing any sort of reports of this thing being on the ground, which is very, very good news. And we'll turn on our live scan for just a bit. But that's the area of rotation right here, okay? So it's just moving northeast at about 40 miles per hour. So if you know anyone in Eureka Springs, just take your tornado precautions to be on the safe side here. We're going to go ahead and take this over to our correlation coefficient here. And I said before, that area right here, which is northeast of Springdale, and I'm going to stop radar for just a bit. We're going to talk about that because there it is right there. That's the area of rotation of concern of where we could potentially have a possible tornado up here. That's northeast of Springdale or southwest of Eureka Springs. And whenever you're looking at this, what's called the correlation coefficient, basically the reds and the oranges, don't pay attention to those because that's just rain and hail. When you start seeing these greens or even in some cases some light blues, that's normally an indication for debris. Now right now, as before, it's still a I don't want to know if that's going to be a possible tornado or not up here. I want to go ahead and tell you guys to take it seriously, to take it as if it was confirmed. But right now, it's just a wait and see. It'd be very interesting to see what's going to come out of that later on this morning here. But it does match up to where your rotation was earlier on when the first warning came out here. Because you can see right there, there's a severe thunderstorm warning, then the tornado warning that went out for northeastern Springdale. Basically, that's where that debris ball, or that quote-unquote debris ball, was at. So, just something to kind of keep an eye on. I will check into that later on this morning and see what happened out of that. But you can see what's going on here. The general motion of this is moving northeast at about 40 miles per hour here, guys. So, Eureka Springs, Beaver, you do need to seek your tornado precautions immediately. Maybe get away from the windows, put as many walls to unity outside as possible. Get to the lowest area of your home immediately in these areas here, guys. Okay, so just please keep that in mind in this area here, okay? And as I said before, if you're tuning in for the rest of the natural state, that's just trimmed the tornado warning. So I'm going to read you guys the newest update from that. So tornado warning remains in effect until 5 a.m. for eastern central Benton County, northwestern Madison, north central Carroll, and northeastern Washington counties here. So severe thunderstorms capable of producing tornadoes was located along the line extending from 4 miles northwest of War Eagle to 5 miles southwest of Hendonsville, moving northeast at 55 miles per hour here. So it's picked up speed. Was moving at 40, now it's moving at 55 miles per hour. And that's going to be the case today, folks. These storms are going to be moving very quickly. You're not going to have a lot of time to react with these storms today. You're talking easily 55, 60 mile per hour moving storms later on today here. So locations impacted include, we're talking Eureka Springs, Beaver, War Eagle, over towards Rock House, Oak Hill, and also Pleasant Ridge, which is up here in northwestern, north central Arkansas. So as a reminder, take your tornado precautions immediately in this area. Remember, move to a basement or a tin-your room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Get away from the windows. If you're outside, 4 o'clock in the morning, but if you're outside in a mobile home or in a vehicle, move to the closest essential shelter and protect yourself from flying debris, guys. So that is where the ongoing tornado warning goes until 5 a.m. this morning. As I told you guys before, we do not mind going live for tornado warnings here. And the dinging you're hearing back there, in the background, that is our what's called the MBOT. That's basically giving us the information strictly from the National Weather Service. So we'll have that information for you guys here. But as you can see, the general tract, Beaver, over towards Berryville, over towards Oak Grove, those are going to be the areas of highest concern with this, guy. So there it is right there. I mean, you can't get any closer to what's called a QLCS type tornado right in here. Okay, that area of rotation was kind of looking like a little vortices on radar. That is moving to the northeast here. I know there's sirens going off in Rogers at this point. I want to reassure you guys in Rogers that you are perfectly okay. This is east, southeast of Rogers. Okay, so Rogers, you are perfectly good to go. All right. I know the sirens are going off because the county is under the warning but not the city. Okay, the city itself is outside of the warning box. Okay, as a matter of fact, let's take a look at that real quick. I'm going to zoom this back down so you guys can see a little bit better what I'm talking about here. Okay, so there's signs going off in Rogers right now. You are outside of the tornado warning. Okay, Bentonville, I'm pretty sure signs are going off too. Lowell, in this general area, there's probably signs going off because of the tornado warning. Okay, you are not in the tornado warning. Repeat that. You are not in the tornado warning at this point. All right, so I'm just kind of reassuring those folks over there. This is in far eastern Benton County. Okay, this is in far eastern Benton County, going into up here towards the Eureka Springs area, towards Beaver. Okay, this is the general motion of that. As a matter of fact, let's put a track on that. Okay, so we're going to zoom this out and show you guys the track real quick. Okay, so we're talking Eureka Springs. You have about 10 minutes. Okay, you need to take your tornado precautions immediately. Berryville, okay, along 62 up here, you need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately in this area. Also towards Oak Grove, and then it's going to make a run for Branson up here in Missouri. Okay, if you know anybody in Branson up here in southern Missouri, give them a heads up. That's the general motion of these storms. These storms also are moving 55 to 60 miles per hour. Okay, so keep that in mind. They're going to be moving very, very quickly today. Okay, your tornado warning goes out, react. Okay, you got to have that quick react motion for today, guys. These storms are not going to waste any time moving over your area here. Okay, so that's the current track with this. I have someone that is in East Omaha, which is up here in north central Arkansas. To be on the safe side, Stacy, yeah, go ahead and tell them to take their tornado precautions. It's going to be a very close call, but you never want to put a bet on a tornado warning. You never want to put a bet on a storm that's capable of producing a tornado, because all it takes is just to take a right hook, and you're going straight towards Omaha and towards Diamond City. Okay, this is moving due northeast, so it's going to miss Omaha, but it's going to be very, very close. It's just too close of a call here, so I would definitely go ahead and take your tornado precautions just to be on the safe side in those areas. You know, there's a lot of people that are in Eureka Springs. Go ahead and take your tornado precautions, guys. Please take your tornado precautions here. John, I'm going to get to those messages in just a bit. Let me see here. So, okay, thank you, John. I was taking a look at that. I was actually taking a look at that at this point. What happened over there at East Springdale? If you can get me more information on that, I would really appreciate that, bud. I'm going to take a look at that. I was looking at radar for just that bit, and it had that small area of a debris ball that was just east of Springdale, and I cannot rule out a possible brief tornado that was just east of Springdale at this point. Okay, National Weather Service did a great job in Tulsa. They did a great job of getting the tornado warning out quick, but I'm very, very concerned that there could have been a possible brief tornado up here near Springdale earlier on this morning here. We're going to go back to it real quickly here. So, not taking away from the tornado warning itself right now. This is moving to the east-northeast at about 55 miles per hour now. So I said before, if you know anyone in Eureka Springs, they need to be taking their tornado precautions immediately. But I'm going to go back to the radar for just a bit. And this is what I'm talking about right here, okay? All right, I'm going to say before, we're going to take a look at that real quickly. So I'm going to put this in full screen so you guys can see a little better what I'm talking about here, okay? So this is when initial tornado warning came out, and this is just to the east-northeast of Springdale at this point, okay? So something I'm going to keep an eye on. John has said before, he's really great at getting us reports. If you can get me a report on that, buddy, I really would appreciate that. But this matches up to where that rotation was this morning, okay? So something I'm going to keep an eye on here. If y'all have any reports over here as well, please give me some sort of report at this point here, okay? But this is, let's take this down. You can see there's a new tornado warning over here that goes for Eureka Springs here. But you can see what happened, okay? There's the area of concern for that brief tornado potential, and then it went away. So this was a brief spin down if it did touch down, okay? It was very, very brief, and then it was gone. So just kind of keep that in mind here. And keep in mind, up here, northwestern Arkansas, very low risk for seeing the potential tornadoes here. So if that was a confirmed tornado, then it happened in what's called a 2% tornado risk, okay? So there's the radar at this point, moving due northeast, guys, okay? you need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately in this area. Remember, get away from the windows, put as many walls to uni outside as possible, get to the lowest area of your home immediately in this area here. I cannot stress that enough at this point here. So there's the track at this point. I'm going to get this up, okay? We're going to go back to full screen for just a second, okay? All right, and that's gonna put the track back up here. So there's a track at this point. All right, so we're talking 441 for Eureka Springs. We got Berryville right around 451. Oak Grove right around 5 o'clock. Also towards Table Rock at 5:12, and in Branson right around 5:20. Okay, so right now, just based off what I'm seeing with this, good news is that it's not as robust in terms of the rotation as it was when it was coming east of Springdale. And as I said before, I'm going to stop radar for just a bit because I know I'm kind of holding on this, but I want to pay attention to this, okay? There could have been a brief tornado at this point, okay? There really could have been a brief tornado at this point that was coming either just over or just to the east of Springdale at this point, okay? Something that I'm going to keep a very, very close eye on here. And like I said, for John, if you give me those reports, I really would appreciate that, man. But I can definitely see it being a brief spin down just northeast of Springdale, and then it loses its rotation. Its rotation is still pretty decent. I don't know if they're going to continue the tornado warning further down the road. It'll probably be replaced with a severe thunderstorm warning here, but I could definitely see where that potential tornado was, which is just northeast of Springdale at this point. Okay, so the new track, so before it still takes it over Eureka Springs. All right, let's pull over some roads as well. Highway 62 in this point as well here. So Highway 62, you're still in that warning. Okay, take your tornado precautions immediately in this area here. Okay, so I'm getting reports. It was real quiet in Springdale. There was word of a tornado just a few minutes ago. Okay, so I am getting some reports in at this point. Springdale, you are in the clear now. It's just something I'm kind of going back over because I looked at our debris indicator, and it had a good amount of debris being wafted up where it was just northeast of Springdale, and then it dissipated as it moved out towards northeast. That is classic signs of what's called a QLCS tornado, or a weak or brief tornado at this point, okay? So something I'm going to keep an eye on. If y'all give me those reports, make sure they're confirmed reports. If y'all can give me those reports, I really will appreciate y'all at this point, guys. But just keep this in mind. That is where the tornado warning is at this point, up here in northwestern Arkansas, guys. And as I said before, this is in a very, very low risk for severe weather. Very, very low risk. And I tell you guys this all the time here. Okay, so John, thank you for that report. Now getting new information here. Second report, structure has collapsed east of Springdale at this point here. So we could potentially be looking at potential tornado damage just east of Springdale at this time here, okay? So just keep that in mind here. This is moving due northeast at about 50 to 55 miles per hour. Right now, in terms of rotation, the rotation is not as strong as it was before, which is great news. But just keep in mind that if that did happen over towards Springdale, this storm does have a history of producing weak, brief tornadoes here. So Highway 62, that's the Eureka Springs. You need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately in this area here. Okay, we're going to go back over to this. Okay, and there's the track right there. Okay, so there's the track at this point. Eureka Springs, you have less than 5 minutes. Berryville, right around 4:51. Oak Grove, 5 o'clock. And then Branson, up here in Missouri, you're talking right around that 5:20 time frame here, okay? So just something to keep in mind here. This is moving to the northeast at about 50 to 55 miles per hour here. I don't know why I keep doing that. We're going to go back to our full screen here, okay? So give me 1 second here. Alright, so let me see here. We'll go over this track one more time here. So there's Eureka Springs, Berryville, Oak Grove, over towards Table Rock, and also towards Branson up here in southern Missouri here, guys. So I'm sorry about that if I get quiet for a little bit. Talking to John for just a second, I'm getting some new reports from that Springdale area from what happened earlier. And so before I was looking at that, I was kind of wondering what was going on with our debris indicator, because it was indicating a good amount of debris being wafted up that was east of Springdale. And as I said before, that's what we're going to have to be watching later on today, is just these brief spin-up tornadoes that could occur very, very quickly, and then just just as they appear, they're gone, just like that here. So something I'm going to keep an eye on here. We're getting new information in with that as well here. But so therefore, if you know anyone on Highway 62, the Eureka Springs area, Beaver area, Oak Grove area, up towards Branson, you need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately in this area. Remember, get away from windows, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Get to the lowest area of your home immediately in these areas here, guys. I cannot stress that enough at this point here. So this is pushing out towards northeast. It's bearing. You can see how fast it's moving too. Okay, bearing down on Eureka Springs at this point. All right. So please keep that in mind. Also, I'm getting a lot of questions about what's going to be happening this afternoon. Folks, please take a look at our page here. We're going to have all the information on the page. When there's a tornado warning, I'm not going to be able to go over specific cities or counties or anything like that here. If you need that information, please take a look at the page at this point here. Okay, so rescue/storm response assignment for East Springdale. Okay, so there has been reports of injuries being reported. Ambulances are en route here. So that tells me right there, east of Springdale, that we do have reports of a confirmed tornado that has happened in this area. Okay, we're getting new information in at this point, but based off what I've seen in terms of the rotation on our radar, in terms of the debris indicated that we were seeing on radar, that has strong evidence that we could have had a brief tornado in east that was just east of Springdale, Arkansas. This is in northwestern Arkansas, by the way. Okay, so that tells me right there everything I need to know. John, I really do appreciate you for giving me those reports here. I hope everybody was able to make it out of that okay. But this is why, folks, we are urging you guys, if there's a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning today, take those precautions immediately, guys. These storms are going to be quick. They're going to be fast moving. You're not going to have a lot of time today, okay? So Highway 62 right now, I've been urging you guys on Highway 62, you need to take your tornado precautions immediately in this area, okay? So Eureka Springs, stay where you are right now. The rotation does not look nowhere near as good as it was when it was coming out of Springdale, but still, this does have a history of at least producing damage, okay? So this dangerous storm is moving off towards northeast very quickly, almost 60 miles per hour, okay? So Berryville, Eureka Springs, we're going to zoom down on this map here. Give me 1 second at this point, okay? So we're going to zoom down on this at this point, okay? So there's the area of rotation that's coming out of Springdale, coming up to the north here. So it's right over Eureka Springs at this point right now, and it's going to try to make a run for the Arkansas-Missouri border within the next 10 to 15 minutes, okay? So take your tornado precautions immediately in this area, guys. Don't leave your shelter until this storm has passed, okay? Springdale, you are in the clear. Rogers, you are in the clear. Everybody that is west of this storm at this point, you're good to go, okay? The only reason why I'm talking about Springdale a lot is because there's strong evidence of what could have been a brief tornado touchdown over there at East Springdale this morning here. And so for John, he's getting us reports at this point. There has been reports of injuries being reported. Ambulances is en route. There's also been reports of structural damage over towards East Springdale as well here, okay? So just keep that in mind. If you're in Eureka Springs, stay in your shelters right now, okay? Highway 62 up here. And then Oak Grove, Blue Eye, which is along the Arkansas-Missouri border, and then towards Table Rock, which is in southern Missouri, and then Branson up here in south central Missouri. Watch this storm very closely here, guys. I cannot stress this enough at this point, okay? So there it is right here, okay? I'm going to go back to where it was in Springdale at this point, okay? So there's the area of rotation at this point. I'm going to take this off for just a second, and you can see what happens here. So it's basically the area of rotation is not as pronounced as it was before, okay? So it puts it basically right over Beaver at this point, and it's moving quick, guys, okay? So you can see what happened with that tornado warning here. So there it is right there. There's the area of rotation, okay? Coming right over Eureka Springs at this point, and it's now making a run for southern Missouri. So this is quickly moving to the northeast at about 40 to 50 miles per hour here. Not wasting any sort of time. There's the reduction to the tornado warning here. So the tornado warning is probably fixing to get ready. Okay, so it has been expired for East Central Benton and northeastern Washington County has been canceled. The storm's prompted a warning, has moved out of one area, and therefore the warning has been allowed to be canceled here. So they're going to let this go at 5 o'clock. Rogers is in the clear here, guys. But I'm going to give you guys a statewide view on what's going on at this point here. There's a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity moving out of Oklahoma and into northwestern Arkansas at this point. Okay, we are watching for that isolated tornado potential. Now, I've been stressing you guys over the last couple of days that we were going to have to watch northwestern Arkansas late Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. That's where we are right now. Okay, so there's the tornado warning. Tornado warning's been canceled. Okay, this is moving off towards northeast very quickly, so it's fixing to be out of Arkansas. But we have a lot of heavy thunderstorms coming out of Oklahoma and into northwestern Arkansas. Okay, so not only am I worried about the isolated severe potential with these storms, but the flooding potential may get going as well if we don't get a move on with these storms over the next couple of hours here. Okay, let's zoom out almost statewide, take a look at what's going on elsewhere across the state. Not much going on this morning here, okay? As you can see, a lot of shower thunderstorm activity across Oklahoma at this point. Northeastern Oklahoma is just pushing due northeast at this time, so it's missing the majority of Arkansas here. But you can see along some of these storms, you can see the rotation with these storms. We will watch these storms this morning, guys. If any other warnings get issued, we will be here. Let's take a look at your Storm Prediction Center outlook for today here. I know there's a lot of people kind of waking up on me. It's almost 5 o'clock in the morning, but let's go ahead and talk about what to expect for today here, guys. Okay, so this is your SPC outlook overlaid with the radar, all right? Marginal risk, northwestern Arkansas. Slight risk from Oxford down to Russellville, down towards Texarkana. Then you have Pocahontas, Jonesboro, Little Rock, down towards El Dorado in the enhanced risk. And then you have the moderate risk. At this point, still across far eastern Arkansas. Could this get bumped a little bit further to the west? It still remains to be seen at this point here. It just depends on what happens out of this mess that's coming out of eastern Oklahoma at this point. But this is moving due northeast, all right? So this is getting kind of concerning because remember, Guidance had a line coming through here early this morning into the mid-morning hours, right? Well, right now, the majority of the precipitation is moving due northeast, okay? The longer this system takes to push through Arkansas, the worse the severe threat's going to be for us for later on this afternoon and into this evening, okay? We need to get this system out of here quick before we get the potential of significant severe weather. That's why the greater risk is east of Arkansas at this point, but we're still watching it. We're still kind of on our toes here for much of central and in the eastern Arkansas here. And as a matter of fact, if you're just now tuning in, I want to talk to you guys about the tornado threat because there has been some changes with the tornado threat overnight here that came out right around midnight last night here, okay? So look what's going on right now. And I want to point this out up here in northwestern Arkansas where that tornado warning is, and there could have been a brief spin up here in Springdale. This happened in a 2% tornado risk, a very low tornado risk up here, all right? This is why I'm urging you guys so much to stay on your toes today. Have a plan ready to go for today. That's why I'm staying you guys so much, because you can see that tornado warning happened in a very low risk for tornadoes, okay? Very, very low risk happened. That's where it happened up here in northwestern Arkansas, all right? So you can see low risk across much of the area in the yellow, the medium risk, and then the high risk over here where you have the 15% up here in eastern Arkansas down towards southeastern Arkansas. Remember, yesterday, this was in far southeastern Arkansas, and it's now been bumped further to the west to account for the slowed down timing, okay? So keep that in mind. There's going to be plenty of updates this morning, guys. We'll have all the information on the page, so you're not missing anything here. But to kind of repeat, there was a tornado warning up here in northwestern Arkansas. It has been allowed to be canceled, okay? We'll go ahead and make sure this is completely canceled at this point, okay? So tornado warning for east central Benton and northeastern Washington counties has been canceled. The storms that prompted the warning have moved out of the warning area. Therefore, the warning has been allowed to expire. The tornado watch itself remains in effect until 7 o'clock this morning, guys. So we will keep you guys updated if anything happens. We will keep you guys updated on that. If you need any information in terms of this severe weather threat for today, please look at the page, guys. We'll have all the information you need on the page at this point here. But just a mess of shower and thunderstorm activity going on across eastern Oklahoma and into northwestern Arkansas. But this is the tornado risk for today, guys, okay? This happened in a very low risk up here in northwestern Arkansas. Alright, what does that mean for everybody else? That means you need to be on your toes for that tornado potential as we get towards later this morning and into the early afternoon hours across the area here, guys. And also, one more thing I'm going to talk to you guys about before I head off here is the potential of winds. Okay, the purple area that you see over here in eastern Arkansas, that is the significant area for seeing significant damaging winds upwards to hurricane force. Okay, then you have your 30%, the high risk area over here from Piggott to Little Rock down towards El Dorado. And then you have your low risk, your very low risk, and you have tornado warnings ongoing in the very low risk areas up here in northwestern Arkansas. So that's why we're urging you guys so much to be on your toes today. Okay, there's the wind risk for today, right over here, the bigger area across eastern Arkansas. Okay, there's a lot of shower thunderstorm activity going on. There's a lot of people asking what's going on in Carroll County. That was the thunderstorm that potentially produced a tornado east of Springdale. That tornado warning has been allowed to be canceled. Okay, but there's still a lot of heavy thunderstorms moving into that area. So we are watching radar. If anything occurs, we will be here. If any warnings get issued further down the road, we will be here as well. But I'm also starting to get concerned about the potential flash flooding. So if you have to travel this morning across northwestern Arkansas from Rogers to Fayetteville over towards Carroll County as well, keep in mind the flash flooding potential will be great up here as well if these thunderstorms don't get a move on over the next, I would say, an hour and a half, 2 hour time frame here. Okay, so keep that in mind. So the tornado warning has been allowed to expire, so we are going to break away from coverage. Radar updates will continue on the page, and we'll continue to keep you guys updated right here in your source for all things Arkansas weather.